Welcome to the newest episode of Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. I'm your host, Jason Fraley, picking the brains of the top filmmakers, musicians, and artists of our time. Today marks the 50th anniversary of Tanya Tucker's iconic country classic Delta Dawn, which was released on March 10th, 1972. I spoke with Tucker in 2016 when she performed at the Birchmere in Alexandria, Virginia. Tanya, thanks so much for taking the time.
Well, my pleasure, Jason. My pleasure.
A, have you ever played the Birchmere? And B, what can we expect if our listeners head out there? We're going to hear some classics, some more newer stuff. What do you got going on?
Wow, it's going to be a trip down memory lane, about 45 years. So, we've got a lot of songs, so we can only do a certain amount of them. But, we're just going to be doing, I think this is an acoustic show, isn't it? Yeah, and so we're kind of unplugged version of my songs, and kind of wanted to, kind of strip it down a little bit, and actually a lot, and just it's some music in me and three pickers,
Awesome. And I want to get into...
And if one guy would have played more instruments, we'd have had two.
There's still time. Maybe you can train them more over the weekend.
Yeah, maybe we can fire one of them.
Yeah. It's very possible. I want to get into some of your songs, obviously, because you're sort of a legend of the genre. But first, I want to go into how you sort of got into playing in the first place. You grew up in Wilcox, Arizona, and
right.
Did your
well,
family?
I went to the sixth grade. I went to the sixth grade there. So I wouldn't call that growing up, but that's where I started singing music. Yeah.
Gotcha.
At a very young age, I don't remember not singing, but I was probably about 6 or 7, 8 when I went on stage, and sort of just did my thing. And my dad was my coach. So, and then when someone would come to town, like Ernest Tubb, who I just loved and was my friend up until his death.
He was walking the floor over you, right?
You betcha.
Yeah.
And waltz across Texas with you, and. In fact, he came to my 18th birthday party. So I was like, my dad's hero is here. My dad thought he was the best, one of his favorites.
How'd you pull that off, getting him to your birthday?
Well, no, we were friends. I was 18, and he came out to my ranch outside of Nashville, and my first place I bought, that the judge let me buy, and because I was, underage, and him and Minnie Pearl both came out.
Oh, wow.
And I was so excited. Most 18-year-olds would want, Lord knows what they'd want now. But back then it was just for me, I guess I'm maybe an old soul or something. My friends were always older,
Yeah. Well,
so it was really great to be able to hang with, but I was 9 years old when he put me on the stage at the VFW Hall in Wilcox.
How did that happen? Did he just see you in the crowd and
my
pull you up?
My dad sent my brother down there. He said, "You don't go down there," because he had to work. He said, "You ask him, get up there and ask him your sister could sing." And so I just found myself sitting on the bus with Ernest Tubb sitting in front of me. He said, "What do you want to sing tonight on the show?" And I said, "Well, I'd really like to sing "Sweet Thing." That's one him and Loretta had.
Yeah.
He said, "Well, do you do it in the same key Loretta does it in?" And, of course, I wasn't about to say no, I said, "Yeah." Boy, when I hit that note, because Loretta sings higher than me, and I was like, "Well, is anybody here?" I had to reach up and pull something down there. But I did, and, the first show I was on when I went to Nashville after Delta Dawn on the Grand Ole Opry, I was on Ernest Tubb's portion of the show. How wild is that? And I walked up to him backstage. He was standing there talking to Connie Smith at the Ryman, and I tugged on his coat, and I said, "Mr. Tubb, I'm Tanya Tucker. I had that song, Delta Dawn." He said, 1967, Wilcox, Arizona.
He remembered it?
He remembered me.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And I said,
crazy.
"Oh, man, that made my whole day." So we became friends,
Wow.
To me, he was the king of country music.
Well, you're one of the queens, at least. You're right up there with. You mentioned Delta Dawn a couple times. I absolutely love the song. I could listen to it on repeat. That was your big Grammy breakthrough too. I think you got nominated for that. But take me into where you were when you first came across that song. You didn't write it, right? It was Larry Collins and Alex Harvey.
my first producer, we've been listening to songs. Come from Las Vegas, that's where I live. Me and my dad, and came to Nashville for 2 weeks and listening to songs. But it was like he played me Alex Harvey's, who wrote it, the guitar vocal, and I said, "That's my song." And so he said, "We're gonna cut it tomorrow." So that's how that happened.
Yeah.
You know, they brought it in Happiest Girl in the Whole USA, but after I heard it, I said, "It's a great song, but it's not my song."
It almost sounds like it has a little bit of like a little gospel flair to it with the mansion in the sky and all that stuff.
Yeah. It's just one of those songs you can't explain it. It's just like it's got one of those magical. It just transcends time, you know, and kids love it, which is unreal. I mean, it's just beyond me. It's just a great song. That's all, you know. I love the bass in it myself, the bass guitar.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
and we cut that live.
Oh, you did, really?
Oh yeah, we cut everything live, all at once.
So that's you.
Vocals and music, wow. Musicians.
You're getting the real deal, right? In real time. That's
amazing. Yeah, it's like, it's like a racehorse, or like a thoroughbred. They breed naturally. Quarter horses, they don't. They AI, so you can, from one collection of a stud, you can breed several mares in a quarter horse, but not in the thoroughbred.
Wow.
So they believe you should get the whole shot.
That's
the mare.
That is awesome. I mean, that song came out in, I think, like 72 or something.
1972.
Wow. I wasn't born until 84, and so, I heard your song, growing up from my parents and grandparents playing all the old stuff. But then what's your secret to keep it going? Because the one that I remember in my actual youth was like all your early 90s stuff with, Down to My Last Teardrop.
Right.
If Your Heart Ain't Busy Tonight, and I love Two Sparrows in a Hurricane, Some Kind of Trouble, It's a Little Too Late. Man, you almost how did you keep it going? And I mean, I just rattled off like 5 90s hits of yours. How did you keep it going across decades like that?
Well, I didn't always keep it going. So, there were times when I couldn't. So, and there were times when I'd, maybe have a 3-year stretch where I didn't want to do nothing. But stay out in LA and have a great time, But, I don't know all the answers to all that. I mean, all I know is I'm me, and I'm here, and been through a lot of shit, but who hasn't? And I continue to go through it. It's not like it's gone away. I mean, you still have tough nights and tough days, and then you have those beautiful moments too, and that's what keeps you going.
As someone who's sort of spanned generations like you have, with huge hits in multiple decades, how have you seen sort of the business and even the sound of country, what's hot and what's played on the radio and things, how have you seen that shift from the days of, let's say, Delta Dawn to then, in the early 90s when you get something like, It's a Little Too Late or something. And even more today, it's even changed even more. But chart the evolution of that sound a little for me.
Well, it's really difficult. I mean, hey, I'd say the music is real, and it's more real the way we did it back then. But, there was some bad music back then, too. I mean, there was some stuff that I wouldn't listen to,
Right.
Made country music step back about 20 years, And I was wanting to move it forward, and I thought that if we could pick up some more people, more fans, and people had a misunderstanding of country music, and I wanted to get it straight, that we can. Someone like me, someone like George Strait, he's going to be that way. He's going to be George Strait. That's all he's going to do.
Yeah.
Is what you expect him to do. But me, I'm kind of like Willie. I like to fool around. I like
push the envelope.
I like to sing around.
Yeah, I mean, what you said you thought people had sort of a misconception about it. What do you mean by that?
Well, I'm just saying that bad music's bad music. You're going to have that any year.
Sure.
But the music nowadays on the radio, I mean, it's obvious. There's like 12 guys that tell radio what to play, and that's what they do. Mm-hmm. But and I guess there's not room enough, time enough to. But I like the radio stations that play it all. you know. I like to hear, my dream radio station would be Sinatra, then Hank Williams Sr., then go to an Eric Clapton and come back with a Merle Haggard, you know?
I would love that station.
I mean, me too.
Where is it?
Where is it? It's right.
Well,
So,
we're an all news station here, so we can't hook you up with that. But we can interview.
well,
we can
but you
interview
probably
those
know,
people.
buddy. The news is radio needs to give it up and do some, at least do a portion of old stuff. I mean, some radio stations play a lot of the old stuff only, you know. But I like a little variety. I don't know about you, but I like some variety. You know, play Beyonce and then play goddamn Patsy Cline.
Me too, because it's all weaves in and out. There really is no past and present.
As long as it's good, who cares?
Yeah, exactly. And it all influences each other, and there really is no past, present, or future. It's all one big songbook, if you ask me. So I'm glad we're on the same page.
Exactly. I mean, yes, the technology has changed a lot, but man, I listened to Loretta Lynn the other night singing "Look Out the Window." If You're Not Gone Too Long in 1967 on the Opry.
Yeah.
And it sounded freaking great. You know, not a miss note, but it was just, it was mesmerizing, really. And I was supposed to meet her and Willie yesterday, and I missed them somehow. I guess they got the wrong dates, but they were doing some stuff together, and okay, he's giving me the gotta stop sign.
No, it's okay.
My road man, my tour manager, he is a whip. He whips me if I don't do good.
Well, that's a good thing. He keeps you on schedule. Well, anyway, just in closing, you know, final pitch to get our listeners to come out on Monday to the Birchmere. Why should they come?
Well, I don't know.
For your sense of humor and modesty.
I'm amazed they still want to come see me, you know. And you know what? That area has always been really great for me. I have a lot of fans in that area, and you know, it's nostalgic, and I love bringing my kids there, you know, because I got a 16-year-old, my youngest. I'd really like to bring her with me if I'd had time to go look around, you know.
Right.
It's the capital. I mean, right around. You're right around D.C., right?
Yeah. Well, our radio's in D.C. and Birchmere is just outside in Alexandria. Yep, right on the border.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know.
Yep. Well, we're
excited. Out the lower 40, upper 40.
Exactly. We're excited to have you, and thanks so much for taking your time out of your Friday to call us.
Well, thank you. It's better now for me. Thanks, Jason.
All right. Thanks, Tanya Tucker on
Bye,
WTOP.
Darling.
Thanks so much for joining us on Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. Remember to hit the subscribe button and give us a 5-star rating if you like what you hear. We'll see you next time. I wanted to take a second to tell you about an app I really enjoy. Living in the DC area is great, and Podcast DC gathers all of the local shows that I like all in one local app. Health, sports, local news, politics, and so much more. Podcast DC is the new local app with hundreds of DC area podcasts to choose from. I can earn exciting rewards just for listening and share the podcasts I love instantly. Available in the App Store or in Google Play, listen local with Podcast DC.